Welcome back to the Football Hub podcast, where we discuss everything about football and everything there is to discuss about football. Glad we're back after taking a break for 3 months, and happy to be back. How you guys doing, man?
It's nice to see you guys tonight. It's been a while.
To be here. It's good to be back. Yeah, it's good to be
Judy,
back.
what's up? How are you doing now?
Um,
I'm good. I'm good. Thank God. It's been a while. I've not seen you guys' faces for, like you said, 3 months. But it's nice to see everybody in good health.
Yeah, yeah. So, we're going to start with the just concluded game in the Premier League between Chelsea and Arsenal, which went in favor of Arsenal Football Club, 2 goals to 1. Three goals basically came from a set piece. Three goals basically came from a set piece. Arsenal extends their lead at the top of the table with 5 points, with one game ahead of Manchester City, while Chelsea, on the other hand, ends up not getting any points this weekend and falls short on the table for the Champions League spots. I'll start with Andrew. What were your thoughts after the final whistle, or what would you gather from today's game?
wow. Well, first of all, I'll say it's good to be back. It's been a while. And my thoughts on the final whistle were pretty much the same with my thoughts as at the halftime because I felt like Chelsea were not in the game as much as I wanted. They didn't seem like they wanted to win the game. I think the team that wanted a win got a win out of that game. And for the Chelsea boys, it was a lot of trying and trying and trying. Of course, we can pull all the whole Cucurella did not play, that person did not play. But at the end of the day, I think the team that deserved the victory, the team that wanted the victory, got got the victory. Because if you look at the game, Arsenal came guns, but they are at home. The record backs them. Chelsea has not won. Chelsea has not won Arsenal in the last 10 meetings, and I think five of the last six has been draws, even at the Emirates Stadium. So the records backs Arsenal right from the very start, right from the game. And I felt like Chelsea didn't take the game to Arsenal enough. There were moments where you felt like they could have done better. There were moments where you felt like execution could be better, management could be better, how they used the ball could be better. But at the end of the day, it just didn't happen for Chelsea. For me today, I felt like Kupama came very short. He had flashes of what could happen, but it never happened. Like it never happened. It just felt like he was about to go, and then it just didn't happen. I felt like João Pedro. João Pedro this game reminded me of Chelsea Manchester United, where Chelsea got a red card at the beginning of the game, and João Pedro became the guy doing everything up top, trying to make something happen, and it just wasn't happening. I felt like that was just a repeat of what happened in that game, and take away interesting performances from the likes of Chaluba, from the likes of Rich James, João Pedro, and I think Lavia had a good run in the 9 minutes or 8 minutes that he came on. Aside from these players, I think every other player didn't show up. Caicedo 50-50. And then Sanchez, oh my God, Sanchez. I don't know. Maybe there's a Spanish connection in there somewhere. Maybe Ateta was with him on the call. I was like, yo, this guy, I beg now, 22 years. Maybe say win something now. You get. But
This
his
very
performance
poor
was
today, like
get
very,
go. He
very
was
poor.
from the distribution from the back. I saw him on two, three different occasions look so clueless. He didn't know whether he was going to take a pass. He didn't know whether he was going to pull the ball forward. And Gyökeres was on him. Gyökeres was really, really on him, forced him to make a couple of blunders and all of that. But yeah, in the long run, I think I'm just going to go back to say the team that wanted a victory, the team that worked out a victory, got that victory. And from the angle of a Chelsea fan, I think every time we've played Chelsea and Arsenal this season, we've had an opportunity to actually beat them. We've had an opportunity to go in and get the game. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't happen yet. It happened under Enzo Maresca. It's happening again under Liam Rosselló. So I think a lot of work needs to be done in house to see where these players are falling short. And then there's the red card. You really cannot, the way we call Arsenal corner kick FC this season. Chelsea is red card FC. Like you go into the game expecting who's going to fuck it up today? Who's going to do something stupid? You know, I was watching the overlap earlier in the week, and I saw Roy Keane say something like, the Chelsea boys are going to concede a red card. Somebody is going to do something stupid and push advantage to Arsenal, and they will win the game. And when I saw Roy Keane say that, I was like, nah, this guy is just making random assumptions. But guess what? It happened.
But,
It just as he
but I
said
can,
it. And
I think I can argue for a fact that Chelsea are actually having an indiscipline issue this season. Like we've seen it from previous
definitely,
games where
definitely, we've seen games when Chelsea players get booked for dissent. I need to go check the statistics around how many times Chelsea players have been booked for dissent this season in comparison to other players. I've seen Chaluba get booked for funny reasons. I've seen Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto's phone today was, I'm like, in like a 3-5 minutes period, this man got to yellow card. Like, so that in this there's a lot of there's an indiscipline problem there at the Chelsea team. I think Liam should look into it. Maybe at this point we need the board. We need Egbali and his brother Todd Bowley to come and look into it. Probably start finding these boys or something, because it just doesn't work.
what were your feelings towards full time, or how would you analyze today's game between Arsenal and Chelsea with the defeat
In
for
all
Chelsea as
honesty,
you as yeah.
I wasn't 100% concentrating on the game. I was a bit busy. But again, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised on how the game turned out. I feel the reality is we are not a good team. We have a couple of good players, but we are not exactly a good team. And I think we got away with a lot of things because of the tactical knowledge of Enzo Maresca. Now, without Maresca, I haven't really watched a game where I felt like, oh, okay, wow, this team has been spectacular. Or I've not watched a game since Maresca left, and I felt, oh, okay, this is an improvement. So I've not necessarily looked at this team and seen some sort of, let's use a Michael Carrick, for example, a new coach bounce. And I think this all boils down to the fact that there isn't a lot of quality in the team. Now, Andrew was talking about he thinks we are going to bounce back. He thinks we are going to get a good run of form. I honestly don't see that happening. I honestly don't see that happening because I believe for us to go on a good run of form, we need some set of players to be on form. And unfortunately, since Maresca left and Liam came in, some players that are tactical to Chelsea's success have not been their best. Caicedo is an example. The last couple of weeks, he has in a way been a shadow of himself. He has been performing well, yes, but he hasn't been to the level of the Caicedo we saw earlier this season, or to the level of the Caicedo we know he can be. You look at Cole Palmer. Palmer has been a shadow of himself. You look at what do you call him? Cucurella. Cucurella has been a shadow of himself. The people that you need to be informed for this team to go on a run of games where you can go 5 games, maybe 4 wins, 1 draw, that kind of thing. Those people have not been their best. The only person where you look at the team right now, you'll be like, okay, he's probably at his best is Enzo Fernandez. And Enzo Fernandez cannot do it alone. João Pedro too, yes, has been doing really well. But then you now look at the entire backline. And when your backline looks as flat as our backline looks, you don't I don't see the optimism in that team, especially when you look at our run of games. I don't think we have any team that is battling relegation or any mid-table team. I think our next couple of games are like top level. We have Newcastle, we have Villa, I think we have Man U in
Yeah,
there.
Aston Villa.
You get me?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like our run of games are not exactly friendly. And when you look at the team now, I don't see anything to be optimistic about. I don't think we make the top five this year. I feel the only way we make the top five this year is if somebody ahead of us drops form so badly that we can find a way to catch up. Because I've not been impressed. I don't see any positives in the team right now.
Yeah, I can agree that the football has not been good. And to be honest with you, Chelsea are currently not in a safe zone because you have Aston Villa trying to fight for top four. Currently, they are also not in form. but they still hold like a 6 point advantage of Chelsea. Then you
Ahead
have
of
a
us.
Then you have a Manchester United that currently are in form, have been unbeaten under Carrick.
Yeah.
Something that we obviously are going to talk about later on. Yeah. So for the run of games coming up, everyone understands that Chelsea are not in the safe zone and they somehow have to grind out a result because if they don't, sorry to say, it's going to be Europa League or maybe even the Conference League next season.
You
So,
don't need to say sorry to say because it's a reality.
I mean, true, like they, most Chelsea fans will tell you that, oh, other we have to depend on other teams to that they have to depend on other teams to drop form and all of that, but it is not realistic. Even the Aston Villa that are actually dropping off form, they still have 6 points ahead of Chelsea. So
Ahead.
where's
And
that
and
miracle
when
going?
you are depending on other teams, you also need to be gaining points. You can't be dropping points and depending on other teams. If other teams is losing and you are losing as well, nothing changes.
Yeah, I mean, imagine dropping points to Leeds and Burnley like consecutively. So who do you blame for that? Who do you
What do you
blame?
say?
Because I said drawing games to teams like Burnley and Leeds consecutively, week in, week out, even before the final game, is not something that a team that wants to qualify for Champions League should be doing.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I don't you look at the team ahead of us, if you are serious about progressing and hoping for other teams should do you any favor. You also need to win your games. You desperately have to win your games. If you are not winning your games, you cannot be looking for help from above. If even if there's help from above and you're not doing what needs to be done on your own part, then it's just going to be a lose lose situation. You get, and then you see the games against Leeds and the game against Leeds, Burnley, it just shows you one thing that is reoccurring, and that's the fact that we don't have experience in that team, and it shows. It shows. We have very poor game management, and that's as a result of lack of proper experience in the team. And as long as the board is hell bent on this youth stuff, we will not challenge for the league anytime soon. At best, we are a cup team where okay, you want a big performance, a big game performance, they can give you a big game performance, but they cannot give you 27, 30 games of consistency because they do not have the experience to do that. And that's this unless the board changes their approach to transfers and unless maybe something changes in the behind the scenes, this would be reoccurring for a while. Because how many red cards have we received this season? How many red cards? Almost every of our starting 11 has been red carded this season.
And that's how bad the indiscipline issue is right now with Chelsea. And who would you blame at this point? You blame the manager or you just blame the players because they just tend to lose their heads when it matters most.
And to an extent, I wouldn't blame the manager, although it does have a bit of blame, but I would also blame the recruiting team. You need a blend of youth and experience. Now, when there's experience in it, I can't remember. I don't know how many red cards we got when Thiago Silva was there. I don't remember us being a team that was collecting red cards because there was a bit of experience or somebody to talk sense to them. There was somebody that could shout at them on the field and they would listen. I love Rhys James, I do, but I think they probably see him as one of the guys and there are things he probably cannot do on the field. But then when you have somebody that is experienced, somebody that they know this person's experience, they know this person is a leader, like has this it's like kind of like a leader figure in the locker room and it talks to you on the field. You are bound to listen because at this point I honestly don't know what to say about Chelsea right now. All I'm just going to keep on doing is watching every game and hoping for the best. But in all honesty, I've mentally checked out of the league. I do not see us making the top five.
So what about the run in the Champions League? Because that is one tough bracket they have on the left hand side.
Um, I feel the champ. I see after looking at the Champions League draw, I don't understand why was there so much like why did clubs do so much to finish in the top eight? Like there was no point in finishing the top eight. If finishing the top eight wasn't going to guarantee you an easy run, if finishing the top eight was going to put you in such draw, what's not the point? Like there was no point. Like just finish top 16, play the playoffs. If you still, because I don't understand how you finish top eight and then you play PSG. If you are lucky enough to beat
So
PSG, you could play Liverpool.
I want to
If
ask
you're
you.
not lucky enough to beat
So
Liverpool,
I want to ask you a question here. So what realistic um end to the season do you see for Chelsea? Do you see Chelsea maybe clinching their hopes to the FA Cup or maybe hopefully winning the Champions League?
I think I see a semi-final FA Cup. Probably like we might be lucky enough to grind out the fifth position at the end of the season. And who knows? Who knows? Chelsea has proven in the Champions League they can be crazy, but I don't think we have the crop of players to do that right now because every time we've had that crazy run in the Champions League, it has all boiled down to the experience in the squad, the from the coach to the players, and how the players could manage the game. And this current team, the coach, the players have proven to us that they don't know how to manage games. They don't have the experience to manage games. So I'm not really confident about the Champions League. I honestly feel we could get battered at PSG, like 4-0 kind of result. And it's over before we even return to the Stamford Bridge.
So you've given up any form of hope you have for that round of 16 tie.
Yes, I have. Because
Yeah.
when I have given up because when you look at your squad going into that game, if we are being honest, the 3-0 win we had at the FIFA Club World Cup final wasn't because we were a better team, it's because Maresca set us up with a better system. Liam hasn't proven, I've not seen him out coach anybody since he came to the league. I've not seen him out tactics anybody since he came to the league. I don't think he has such tactical depth. And then when I look at the players we have, is Pedro Neto is crap. Garnacho is crap. Gittins is crap. Palmer is he hasn't picked up form. Caicedo is struggling. Do you get my point? So I'm being very realistic right now that we going into this game at the end of the first leg, it could end very badly. We could honestly get battered at the end of the first leg. Like facts.
So your own expect you're not putting any form of hope towards the end of the season or maybe in the knockout or
Now,
whichever competition
now
like the FA Cup. So
I, I think we go.
okay, I'm going
I think
so right now
I think we go
I'm going to
trophyless.
shift to I'm actually going to shift to Andrew now to if he is open to countering your point or maybe he holds the same opinion about Chelsea season so far, maybe going forward if they would get the FA or if they will win the Champions League or even finish in the Champions League Sporting League.
Um, in a way, I want to agree with Eddie, but I also feel like this Chelsea team can spring up surprises. And
This Chelsea team can do what?
just to reply to this, they can spring up surprises. Liam has already gotten the better of PSG and Luis Enrique once this season at Strasbourg, right? And of course, we can sit here and say he doesn't have the experience, he doesn't have all of that. Enzo Maresca didn't have the experience too. You know, Enzo Maresca went against a Luis Enrique that has done the treble at two different clubs in two different countries, right? So if it's based on experience, Chelsea don't have it. And if you look at the Chelsea teams that have gone on to achieve this kind of feat, yes, you could say at some point the coach's imprint was on that team, and also the players took it on themselves to go the extra notch. Now, Do I think this current crop of Chelsea players can take it up that notch? I'm not so sure. Honestly,
They
when I look
cannot.
at that Chelsea team, when I look at my first problem with the Chelsea team is the back line. I still don't understand or know what the first choice backline is for this Chelsea team this season. For example,
But
we
you
started
could,
today with Pato,
but you could blame
Chaloba.
that to injury. You could blame
Yes,
injuries
We
for
could
that.
sorry,
the problem with blaming
sorry,
things
so
with injuries. If we set
sorry
up
to
the
cut you
team,
short.
it's still Chelsea. Still Chelsea,
Even if we are sorry to
right?
cut you short,
If
even if we are
no
blaming
injuries, still Chelsea.
injuries,
Even if there's no, I don't see. If I slot in Wesley Fofana into the team that played in today, I don't think it will be any. Did Fofana play in the game that they lost at the Carabao Cup semi-final? So I don't think it's injury per se. I don't think a Levi Colwill in the heart of the defense today will have done much difference. I think the way the team is set up, they are easy to defeat by certain type of teams. Because I look at
exactly.
Arsenal today, there wasn't a lot of clear-cut opportunities. There wasn't a lot of clear-cut opportunities. This is the first time I will see a derby that the 3 goals are from 3 corners. This is the first time in my life. A derby, 3 corners, 3 goals. Come on. Like, there is no. You look at that game, there's not a moment in that game where they strung 3, 4 passes together. There was an intelligent play and makes you go, whoa, this is interesting. There was no point in that game where you were at the edge of your seat looking at it and said, okay, Kofama has the ball, something is going to happen. Or Gyökeres has the ball, something on both sides of the pitch. It was not happening. Like I keep saying, one team just wanted to win the game more. One team had the mentality to keep pushing on to win the game more than the other team, and that team is not Chelsea, right?
Experience.
So looking
That's
at
where
it for the rest of the
experience comes
season,
into play.
in the Premier League, I think in the Premier League, Chelsea can make it work, qualify for next season's Champions League. Because for example, look at the Aston Villa. Personally, I don't rate Aston Villa. Look at how they've been playing. They lost to who? They lost 2-0 the other day. A
They beat
game
you
you
at
know, to
Stamford Bridge.
Wolves. Yes, Wolves. Just Wolves' second win of this season in
Okay, wait,
game week
sorry,
29.
Andrew,
Come
Andrew,
on.
Andrew. Sorry to cut you short. When you say stuff like they lost to Wolves, they lost to Wolves. Did you remember what Wolves almost did to you in the Carabao Cup? Where we were praying for full time whistle.
You said at the end of the day, the game ends at full time. When I look at the full time, what was discussed? These boys they did well enough in the first half to not have the second half of Wolves spoil everything, right? Just like I can look at today's game at Chelsea and say there was a point when Saliba was hugging Ja Pedro in the 18-yard box and the referee did not say anything. VAR did not say anything. Declan Rice handled the ball at some point. VAR did not say anything. So we can always pick up these instances. But at the end of the day, one team showed that they wanted to win and they went all the way through. And I have not seen that. I've not
So,
seen Chelsea do that. And in the
so,
Champions League, honestly, my hopes for Chelsea in the Champions League is we can do it. We've beaten PSG once before. I think we can do it over 2 legs. My problem with it is this: the consistency to continue churning out these results. We've not shown it. But do I think Chelsea can churn out results in a knockout system type of game? Yes. I think if it's a knockout type football, I don't say
Yeah,
Chelsea. No, it's never
we're
say
a
never
cup
for
team.
Chelsea. I
We're
don't think
actually a cup team.
PSG is that much of not be able to hold to for Chelsea not to beat, because come on, Arsenal beat this PSG team comfortably. Every time we have
Arsenal
played
beat you
Arsenal this season,
comfortably.
we've taken it up. They beat PSG. They beat PSG comfortably. I think Chelsea has had opportunity to beat this Arsenal team 2, 3 times this season. They just keep fucking it up. So I think a well put together Chelsea team can hurt PSG and will hurt PSG. And I look at it forward and say, okay, let's say Chelsea crosses past PSG and then they play one of Liverpool or Gala. I feel like Liverpool can get the best of Gala over 2 legs. Majorly because, like Chelsea, I don't like Gala's defense. Galatasaray's defense is just awful. The attack looks good. Thanks to Osimhen, if you take Osimhen out of that attack, they also drop. So I think Liverpool is going to move on. But then I don't see Chelsea beating Liverpool because I think that Liverpool team know how to be clinical when they need to be clinical. Liverpool is now, I don't know, like fifth on the league now, fourth or fifth on the league. They were behind Chelsea just a few weeks ago. Now they're ahead of Chelsea, right? So I think with Chelsea, it's just they can do it. We know they can do it. There's the luck aspect of it. There's all of that. Chelsea can just spring a surprise on you, so it can happen. I think that luck element can push them, but how far? I don't see this Chelsea team beating a Real Madrid. especially in the Champions League. So in my mind, if they find a way to meet a Real Madrid or a Man City, I don't think they are going to scale through. But in the Premier League, I think they have enough to push through in the Premier League and get to top 4 place. And also in the FA Cup, here or there. My feelings for the FA Cup is the same as the Champions League. In a knockout type football, knockout type competition, I think Chelsea can make something work. I think it's possible. There's a possibility there. I'm not going to hinge on and say, okay, it's definitely going to happen. But of course, there's that possibility of the boys going all the way. And that is me saying it from a team perspective. I want to look at it player for player. I won't be that confident because I look at that attack. I look at Gittens, Garnacho, who again, Pedro Neto. If
Whoever
you take
bought
out
these
Jao
players
Pedro,
needs to lose his job.
the problem with the person
Yeah.
buying these players is they have the backing of the board. They
He
have the
needs to
backing of
lose
the
his
owners.
job, of course.
It is clear that this strategy or this style is backed by the board. Is backed. We had options. Chelsea had the opportunity to go sign Rodrigo as a left winger, but they said no. They want Garnacho. The Garnacho that Manchester United does not even want. I don't know how. Till today, I don't know what impressed the Chelsea board or the Chelsea technical team. Apart Garnacho, I don't know what it is. Then we let Noni Madueke go to bring in Gittens. Personally, I don't understand it. So the only transfer into Chelsea from a winger standpoint that happened for Chelsea, for me is Estevao, and he's still a prodigy. He's not there yet, but he has shown. Funny enough, I think the most exciting winger in the Chelsea team is Estevao, ahead of Gittens, Garnacho, and Neto, Pedro Neto. And that says a lot about this team because these other guys have Premier League experience, they have European football experience, they've been playing at the top stages before now. Before this young kid who just came from Brazil and is now running circles around there. So I think like Eddie has said, whoever did this recruitment needs to go, but that also probably still means the management needs to go, which we know is not happening anytime soon. So looking at that Chelsea team, man for man, player for player. I don't think if you do that player for player, any interesting thing is going to happen. I don't think it's going to work. But as a unit, with a coach that has a plan, I think it could work.
So, the game on Friday between Leeds and Manchester City ended in favor of Manchester City, 1-0 and which further intensifies the chase for the league title, with Arsenal also defeating Chelsea today. Arsenal have a game ahead of Man City, and City are a different beast when it comes to the league chase. And it is down to Arsenal now to win the rest of their games to the end of the season and hope Pep Guardiola doesn't pull out something out of the hat going into the running for the end of the season. Do you guys see some drama happening, maybe 5 games to the end of the season, or maybe Arsenal collapsing as usual, as they always do towards the end of the season?
I think my issue with Arsenal is they are not producing as a team. They don't exactly, when you watch them play, they don't exactly go out there and wow you. They don't score open play goals. Majority of their goals are like set piece and set piece and set piece. And it has sustained them so far, but at the same time it has put them in trouble. Because I feel if they played better, they probably would have had a bigger gap at this time during the season. The preceding probably would have been over. But the fact that their pattern of play this season has relied a lot on set piece, and when you see them play, their attackers are not really like producing. Their attackers are not really scoring goals per se. Do you get? I feel that would become an issue moving at like heading into the latter stages of the season, because when you start coming up against these teams that are fighting relegation and they desperately need to survive, and they are coming at you, you get, and they are really, really coming at you, they are giving it their all, it becomes dicey. Now for City it doesn't have to be pretty. They just need 3 points, like they did against Leeds. It doesn't have to be a 5-0 win. It doesn't have to be a pretty win. It just has to be 3 points. They just need to keep that 3 points until Arsenal goes to the Etihad. They just need to keep on playing their football.
Uh
1-0, 1-0. The Man City does not need to do anything special. 1-0,
mhm.
you take your 1-0, take your 1-0, take your 2-1, and then they patiently wait and welcome Arsenal to Etihad. And at Etihad, if when they get to Etihad, if Arsenal loses at Etihad with still, let's say, the 2 point gap, if we are to put, say, City wins their game in hand and Arsenal goes to Etihad and loses, it's game over. It's the league is done. And God, will I be such a happy person?
To you, who is it? Who is currently the title race in favor of? Do you say Manchester City with their games coming up, or Arsenal having defeated
I'm
Tottenham, Chelsea?
I'm going to say Man City because Man City has shown in the past that they know how to get the job done. Arsenal doesn't necessarily have that record. Over the last 2 or 3 years, they have not given me any reason to feel like they can get the job done. Because if I'm being honest with the way other teams have been this season, with the way City were not exactly firing all cylinders for a majority of this season, Arsenal could have been 10, 15 points gone by now. The league could have been over. Yeah. But then here we are again, having that conversation of they could bottle it. So I'm not exactly so confident with Arsenal because they don't exactly have a track record of being able to get it over the line. If they do this season, kudos to them. But I'm going to stick with City because City has the record of doing it. Guardiola is a serial winner. He knows how to win. Arteta has not proven that he knows how to do that yet. So I'm backing City.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, how about you? What's your prediction, or what do you see coming up in the coming weeks?
um I think Man City are in a familiar position, they're in a familiar space. In the last 4, 5 seasons, 3 of those seasons, or let's say 2 of those seasons, they've trailed Arsenal up until March, February, March, April, before we see them go on a very, very interesting winning run, 1-0s, 2-0s, till the end of the season that eventually hands the league over to them. So I think that Manchester City team, they've been here before. When you look at the crop of players there, the Ruben Diaz, what's his name, the Portuguese winger, the Portuguese midfielder, um,
Bernardo?
Silva. You look at these players have been there. They've watched this happen before. They've seen this happen before against this same Arsenal team. We saw Haaland talk to them about mentality the other day. We've seen Rodri. It has become they have become regular for them. A normal thing for these boys now. It's like make Arsenal go the lead and come from August. By March, we will collect our team back for their hand. You get? So it puts them in a position of confidence. Unlike the Arsenal boys, I feel like the pressure is on Arsenal, not on Manchester City. The
Yeah.
pressure is on Arsenal to deliver because they've been at the top since August. These are the moments when it matters the most to get it across the line. The problem is, can we trust Arsenal enough to get it across the line? I'm going to say no. I don't, not because I'm angry as a Chelsea fan I lost today, but because looking at them in recent weeks, you would notice that the tempo has dropped. The
Yeah.
Arsenal that played between August and December, look at the way Declan Rice was bullying people. Zubimendi came into the Premier League. I thought it was going to take a while to gel, but that guy just went into this, started scoring some unusual goals, started linking up defense and attack. You look at the Saliba and Martin, what's his name, and Gabriel partnership. There was a time this is when people were saying they were going
Goals.
to break the record of 10 goals and all that. So that intensity, that tempo that I saw from Arsenal between August and January, that made everybody look and say, okay, maybe there was a time this season people were saying maybe Arsenal might just get it through. Maybe they might just get it through. I don't see that intensity anymore. I don't see that tempo anymore. It is the way you watch Arsenal in September. They basically sweat people aside. You watch Arsenal in September and you're like, this is interesting. I know you won't do it by March. I know you won't do it by April. Now we're in March, and we're seeing clearly that they don't have that energy anymore. On the flip side with Manchester City, they are just building tempo, and I can tell you why they are building tempo. They brought in Guehi. in January. They brought in Semenyo. You know, that's a team that is building momentum. That's a team that knows we're about to lose something. Let's back it up. You know, they started the season with Trafford, and they went to bring in Donnarumma.
Honestly.
That's a team that is going somewhere, that knows that things
Ambition.
can get rough. Shit. You understand? So I feel like because the pressure is on Arsenal now, and the Arsenal that we've seen over the years don't do so well with pressure, I think they'll probably falter. So the onus is on Manchester City to actually go out there. If Manchester City, mathematically as it is today, if Manchester City win all their games till the end of the season, they're
They win
champions,
the league. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, Arsenal might be first on the table with all of the statistics, but we know if Man City continually do this slim victory thing till May, they win the league. And we've seen them do it before. We've seen them come in February and win 18 straight games, 12 straight games, 15 straight games. The last time we saw Arsenal won with such consistency was last year. So I really think the pressure is on them. If anybody is going to bottle it, it's definitely going to be Arsenal. So I don't. It won't be that much of a surprise for many of us, honestly. So yeah, I think Arsenal need to get back in the joint seat.
Interesting times ahead. In the coming weeks, we have midweek games, we have Champions League games, and we also have games from other leagues like the Copa del Rey between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. And we hope to see some really good football and action coming up. And with that, we've come to the end of the pod, and we'll be back on Thursday to review the midweek game.
Wait,
For
wait. I have
Tuesday,
a question. I have a question. What's the as a huge supporter of the Super Eagles, what is FIFA saying? Why is this thing taking so long?
currently there is no update right now from FIFA. I've seen some journalists on Twitter, Nigerian journalists, dropping rumors about stuff about it not working out or something, but officially on an official channel from FIFA, there is no update at the moment. So, and I think the playoffs are coming up this month. So, if
Yeah.
there is no update when the playoffs start, they start the playoffs, then I don't think there's any hope of the Super Eagles coming into the picture. So, I mean, I think I've answered your question. So, I think we as Nigerians should just dead the thoughts or maybe just forget about it and focus on the AFCON next year. So,
I
for now,
think
no
I
update.
think Nigeria should focus. We should focus on watching Osimhen and hope he wins the Champions League with Galatasaray, because
Hope
Or
we're not
maybe
going to the
man
World
wins
Cup.
the
um,
Copa
We had the
del
Ghana.
Rey.
opportunity to like the regular way, and we did not. We had the full opportunity to qualify the regular. Look at the energy that they brought towards the end of the qualifiers. Where was that energy at the beginning of the qualifiers? People that wanted to win, people that wanted to qualify for the World Cup, they had already qualified while we were doing our mathematics and probability. So I think it's a good lesson for the boys. FIFA should just let it go. These Nigerian boys are not ready. From the administration to the management to the players, clearly, if they wanted to be at the World Cup, they would have performed and gotten the ticket the right way. Not all these backyard politics and APC things that we are doing right now. Please, let's get serious. Let's start focusing on the next World Cup, please.
So guys, come to the end of the pod and we'll be back on Thursday to review the games for Tuesday and Wednesday. I think Chelsea are playing Aston Villa on Wednesday and Manchester United square
Yeah.
off with Newcastle. So hopefully we are back here on Thursday to dissect everything and yeah, see you guys soon.
Alright. Enjoy the
Thank
rest
you
of the
guys
day.
for your time.
Bye.